Regina Marian Ndlovu is a talk show host, shining the spotlight on issues faced by people living with albinism. Now, her talk show, My Voice Albinism, the new era, showcases both the positive and negative facets of what it means to live with albinism in present-day South Africa. Well, we're lucky enough to have her with us this morning, the lovely Regina. Morning, and thanks for your time and coming in this cold as well, Regina.
Thank you for having me. It's always an honor to just have this platform to actually be able to actually give out my voice while I give out other people's voices around there.
Fantastic. Well, it is International Albinism Awareness Day as well. So let's talk about your show and how it came about. It's your baby. It's your idea. When did the idea pop into your head?
Wow. So basically, my voice is basically the slogan of everything I do, because as a woman with albinism myself, I never had a voice due to my life experience, which I will share. But basically, my voice started off in 2015, where I did a one-woman show called Mary, My Voice. And from there, it was like, wow, I was able to share my story. From there, I felt free, and I realized, but around the world, when you Google albinism, you're not going to find positive stories, engaging stuff. You're going to find murders, killed, and stuff. So I realized we don't have reference. We don't have role models. We don't have a place where you can go and get empowered and get taught that, you know what, we all have the journey. I went through it. You will go through it. As long as you've got the color, it will happen. But what do you do when the journey is in process? You understand? It's not how your story starts. It's how your story ends. So basically, I saw different people with albinism on social media, and I was inspired. But for that inspiration to be extended, I had to create a platform for people with albinism, and not just people with albinism, even people who don't have albinism.
Is it interactive, Regina? Is it people who can have a chat with you, or do you have guests? How does the show actually work?
I literally have guests into the show as I'm sitting here with you, people with albinism, people who don't have albinism, people w'ho've gone through extremely painful stories, and
that might resonate with people with albinism.
Yes.
Okay.
And no, just actually, because the thing is that most people who don't have albinism assume that it doesn't affect them. They think it's you're suffering from albinism, or because I'm black, because I'm white, it doesn't affect me. It's not a condition. And that's what is not true, because it's in every gene, every race, every human being that's on this earth is capable of having a child with albinism. So basically, this show is to actually have a platform to inform people about sunscreen, inform people about the eyes, school. We can't see very far, and it's different. I can speak for me, but other people with albinism, it's not the same. Yeah. So each person comes in and gives their voice and tells us, okay, this is how they grew up, and this is how they went through. So does that work for you or not?
Do you have children on your show? Because that's a difficult one.
Amazingly, amazingly, my next guest is a mother with 2 kids with albinism, and she wants to come on the show because she loves her kids to death. One thing I do with my guests, I let them pick their own topic.
Okay.
And she said, I love my children so much, I would do anything for them. So I have a mother with 2 kids with albinism, and I have a mother who's got an elderly daughter with albinism. So I bring in a woman who's already raised a daughter with albinism or a child to come and mentor and speak out for the woman whose child is actually
so it's a community helping each other is what it does, and telling the rest of South Africans.
Definitely. It's engagement, it's information, it's inspiration, it's also fighting for ourselves. As women with albinism, just like myself, I went through 2 rapes, discrimination, suicide, mental institution. I couldn't read and write for 25 years of my life because I was told, you don't belong here. And for 25 years of my life, I became self-hated. I started stealing, I started lying, I started actually living a reckless life because I had no platform where I could voice out, where I could go actually get a job and be heard. Do you understand? So basically, the show now has that platform where even if it's in hospitals, when I was born, the first thing the nurse asked my mom is your husband white? She said, no, why? And then she said, look at your baby. Do you understand? So basically, Albinism, the new era, is also a platform for every one of us with albinism to say, we are the only ones who can change this. We are the only ones who can change the story and leave a new legacy from what has been going on for decades and generations.
Well, Regina, that's amazing, considering just hearing now what you've been through yourself, and the fact that you are this person, this upbeat, positive person, is such an inspiration. I want to ask you, your show, does it reach the areas that it really needs to reach in the country? And I'm talking this where we know that this is a cultural issue. We know in the outlying areas that there's still the stigma. There are horrible perceptions about people living with albinism. Does it reach there yet?
Not yet. And I'm so grateful for this platform because I know whoever's watching now will know that there is a place and a platform where they can go, learn, ask questions. Feel free because people are scared to ask questions. So it's not there yet, but it's definitely going to get there. I had an experience about 7 years ago where I was told by a very well-known producer in South Africa who said, "You're an albino and we don't have albino actors in the industry, so you better change your career because no director will wake up and write a story about you." That broke me so bad. 7 years later, I've got 2 movies on Mzansi Magic and I play lead actress.
You're writing your own story.
Definitely.
That's amazing. So where do we find you? Where do we find the show?
You find the show on YouTube, My Voice Albinism, The New Era. You can also find it on Facebook, My Voice Albinism, The New Era. It's on Twitter, it's on Vimeo, and for now, that's where it is. So until I get it onto TV for the world to see, my plans are having to distribute videos in the communities and making sure that people, I reach to them than them coming to me. So I'll make sure I make DVDs. Hopefully, if the world is watching out there, give us a platform for TV, because I was also told by a studio company that's wanted to work with me to say, we love your story, but let us change it because we are not suffering from albinism and we are not, we don't have the condition. I'm like, that's the whole point. You assume that it's about suffering.
You, Regina, are an inspiration, amazing, a wonderful young woman, and I think I'm hoping that you get that support that you need. And then thank you for making the time to be with us here today. Thank you very much, Regina Ndlovu, talk show host and entertainer, an amazing human being, as we can see, partner.